Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the January 18th, 2020 Vinyl Treasure Show. Sorry I am late, but glad you are here. And really have to apologize as I'm not really prepared for the show tonight. Had a very difficult week. The death in the family. I was been working late hours, like 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning. I got to bed late last night, worked all day till about 6 o'clock today, but was able to put together a really makeshift show. Got some requests. I was able to get to some of your requests from last week, so please bear with me tonight. But we opened up tonight's show with a stellar organist, pianist, Bill Doggett. Bill Doggett, October 1956 on the King record label. A song that called Slow Walk, actually a cover tune. Syl Austin did it originally, but this one charted for him number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, did better on Cashbox. No, actually 26 on Billboard. See, I'm already messing up. 12 on Cashbox. But that one there, the opener, Slow Walk, from October 1956, is Johnny G. Slow Walks through the show tonight. Well, let's open up the vocal portion here. And we open up with a group from the Bronx, New York. And I think they were named after a cigarette. Was there a cigarette called Chesterfield or Chesterfields? I think there was, but I think they got their name from the cigarette, and it features Al Reno on lead. We go to June of 58. It's on the Cub label. These are the Chesterfields, and something that I feel should happen to me right now. It's called I Got Fired.
Get out, you're fired!
Bop, dingo,
I got fired. I lost my job today. Oh, gee golly, wonder what my girl will say. I got fired. Yes, it was my lucky day. I got fired. He got fired. I got fired. I lost my job today. Such a drag. Can't go out without no pay. I got fired. Yes, it was my lucky day. I got fired. He got fired. Fired. I got fired. He got fired. I got fired. He got. I got fired. I got fired. He got fired. He got fired. I got fired. I lost my job today. It's too much. Don't know what my girl will say. I got fired. He got fired. Go get a job. Go get a job. Go get a job. Go get a job. Come on, go get a job. Go get a job. Fired, I got fired. He got fired. I got fired. He got. I got fired. I got fired. He got fired. I got fired. I got fired. I lost my job today. It's too much. Don't know what my girl will say. I got fired. He got fired. Who got fired? You got fired. Wait a minute.
I say, is anybody looking for work?
it's
Yeah, we open up the vocal portion there with the Chesterfields. Probably Smoker. I can't really say that anyway. Johnny G needs a smoke tonight, that's for sure. June 1958, the Chesterfields on the Cub record label. I Got Fired. Al Reno on lead for that one. And like I said, I'm not done with my work, really not, but I didn't have enough time to finish. I hate doing that. And I I gotta vent is what I have to do anyway. And I think I'm coming down with something too, because I only get 3 hours sleep every night anyway. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s. Let's continue here now. Last week, I'm playing some flip sides from the previous week. Of course, I always do that. But young listener Evan Blatt, he requested a group called the Sharp Tones last week on the Ace record label, not the Johnny Vincent Ace, but an Ace label out of New York City. So you collectors don't get confused about that. But the side I played, or the side that Evan requested, a great tune called I'll Always Remember, which was the intended B-side of the 45. Let's flip it over, give a listen to the A-side, because it's a pretty cool up-tempo side. It's from March of 59. They're called the Sharp Tones. It's on the Ace label. It's called Sock Hop.
Say, fellas, where's everybody going?
Say, man, haven't you heard there's a sock hop going on?
A sock hop?
Yes, a sock hop.
Well, stand back, buddy, you can't be late. Going downtown, I'm gonna buy myself a date at the sock hop. Hey, sock hop. You're rocking and you're rolling and your slippers right across the floor. We'll walk and stroll, and then we'll do the bar. And then I'm gonna dance with the queen of the heart at the sock hop. Shoes, jumping right in town, you the dog blue, that's sock hop. Yeah, sock hop. You're rocking and you're rolling and your slippers right across the floor.
I'm glad I made this sock hop night. Everybody's in there. There's Bobby Dan and Peter the Hop and Jack that chicken, Billy Bob. There's American Woman and a Space Girl, and everybody is trying to twirl. Cindy Lou and Peggy Sue, and they even in there jumping too. So I'ma reach down and kick off my shoes, try to get down with some of them yellow dog blues. So I guess I'll make it on there.
Rockin' and a rollin', slippers right across the floor.
Yeah, those are the Sharp Tones. That's the intended A-side of the 45 from March 59. A song entitled Sock Hop. That's what we have here every Saturday. We have sort of a sock hop. Johnny G's got socks on today on this cold, blustery day here in New York City. Got some snow out there. It was frigid cold. 16 degrees, I think it was last night. It was nice, not bad, but now it's horrible. Anyway, let's continue here. Got an early side up next from a classic vocal group, one of the classic vocal groups of all time, an early group though, and they are from Durham, North Carolina. It's by request for Mr. George Tompkins, and this is their 8th single under the name as the Larks, because they recorded earlier releases. They were known as the 5 Larks, and even earlier than that, they were known as the Southern Harmonaires on the Apollo label, but this was their 8th release on Apollo as the Larks. It features Eugene Mumford on lead. It mentions that right on the label. It's from February 52, an early side here, February 52, by request for George, the Larks on Apollo, and their tune called Stolen Love.
Darling, how you deceive me. You spend my love for someone new. You made
Let me say these words to you. Stolen love will bring you sorrow. It will bow your head in shame when you play with fire. Trouble you borrow. Stolen love is a losing game. Stolen love will bring you sorrow. It will bow your head in shame when you play with fire. Trouble you borrow. Stolen love is a losing
As by request for George Tompkins, an early side there. Early side, February 1952. Those are the Larks with Eugene Mumford on lead. Stolen Love, Bess Berman's Apollo record label. More common to find that record on a 78 versus a 45. Hard to find it on a 45. Got a little warp on mine, but I was lucky to get that copy. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, and we continue here with the show. We move into March of 1954. It's on the Peacock record label. What's his name? Don Roby. See, Johnny G's going to be mentally out of it tonight. And we got a group called the Tempo Toppers. The Tempo Toppers that included Little Richard. Little Richard, a member of this group, and they kind of what Roby did was he resurrected his records when Little Richard started having hits on the specialty label, you know, Tutti Frutti and Rip It Up and all those hits. So but this one, I think this is a March 54 release, so this might be just before Little Richard was coming out with those specialty hits. But he's on lead. These are the Tempo Toppers. This one was originally recorded in 1953, and it's about food, and Johnny G's been staying away from food, or trying to. The song is called Rice, Red Beans, and Turnip Greens.
Waitress, 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 what do you have to eat today? We have a rice, red beans, and turnip greens. That's what we have today. Waitress, 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 what do you have to eat today? We have a rice, red beans, and turnip greens. That's what we have today. I'm getting sick and tired of the same thing to eat. It's the one big juicy pork chop will knock me off my feet. Waitress, 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 what do you have to eat today? We have a rice, red beans, and turnip greens. That's what we have today.
Turnip green, that's what we have today.
We have rice, red beans, and turnip green. That's what we have today.
As from March 1954, that's March 1954. That is a Little Richard on lead there with the Tempo Toppers. Red Rice, Red Beans, and Turnip Greens is the name of that one on the Peacock record label. One of his early sides recorded in 1953. And yes, he had releases prior to Peacock on the RCA record label. I had a chance to buy those. I think there were 4 that came out. I think, who was it? I think it was Jerry Diaz that offered me all 4, but he wanted a lot of money. He wanted, I think, I don't know if it was like, was it $500 each or something, some kind of crazy number each for each one of the 45s. I said I wasn't going to do it. I think I have one of his on a 78, but anyway, that's early Little Richard. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening spinning original vinyl 45s. Let's continue here with the request. This one going out to the Colonel for this group from Harlem, New York. They had 2 releases on the Central label, and this is the A-side of the 45, with a female on lead here, female lead, and this gal would later become a lead of a girl group called the Joy Tones on the Rama label. Her name is Vicki Burgess, and this is the group's first release on the Central label by request for the Colonel. April 1953, the Charmers on Central with The Beating of My Heart.
La do do da do day, la do do day, la do do da do day, la do do day. As I look in your eyes, then suddenly I realize you're the beating of my heart. You're the beat of my heart. When our hearts first met, beating out like the ripples on the stream, you're the beating of my heart. You're the beat of my heart. As our lips stole a kiss, I didn't know, yes, that love was like this. You're the beating of my heart. You're the beat of my heart. As our story ends, my love for you is still burning yet. You're the beating of my heart. You're the beat of my heart.
That's the first of two on the Central label for the Charmers, going out to the Colonel, April 1953. Vicki Burgess on lead. The Beating of My Heart. That one is, I wouldn't say it's so difficult to get that record. I have that on a 78 too. The second one is harder. Tony My Darling is a much harder 45 to find than that one. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Got a mini spotlight. I guess I don't really do three record sets. Believe it or not, I hate record sets. When I used to guest host on some of the shows, they asked me to do like 3 and 4 record sets. I don't like that. I don't know why. I just don't like to do that. But I got 3 records coming up on the Rama record label. And up first, we got Bobby Mansfield and the Wrens. This one from November 1955. It's on the Blue Rama label. This one is flipped with Serenade of the Bells, but this one is the up-tempo. It's called Hey Girl.
Boo, 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 da 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 da. Hey, 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 girl, what is that, girl? Ooh, you got me crying too. Hey, girl, tell me what's the matter with you? Well, now tell me, pretty baby, what's wrong with you? You don't have to cry because your man is untrue. Tell me if there's anything that I can do. Tell me, pretty baby, what's wrong with you? Hey, 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 girl, what is the matter, girl? Boo, you got me crying too. Hey, girl, tell me what's the matter with you? Well, there's no sense in denying, no, you don't look nice when you're crying. Come on, baby, change that face, 'cause there's a whole lot of guys who like to take his place. Hey, hey, girl, what is the matter, girl? Boo, you got me crying too. Hey, girl, tell me what's the matter with boo, 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 boo. No sense in denying, no, you don't look nice when you're crying. Come on, baby, change that face, 'cause there's a whole lot of guys who like to take his place. Hey, 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 girl, what is the matter, girl? Boo, you got me crying too. Hey, girl, tell me what's the matter with boo, 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 tell me.
That's November 1955. George Goldner's Rama record label. Those are the Wrens. The Wrens, Bobby Mansfield on lead with Hey Girl. This came out on another, I don't know what George Goldner was doing with the Wrens and their flip sides and whatnot, but this one has Serenade of the Bells on the flip. And although I saw it says Billy Mansfield, was he known as Billy, or they made a mistake on that writer credit there? Because Bobby Mansfield, I think, wrote a lot of the tunes for the Wrens. Anyway, I mentioned we were doing a kind of like a 3-spin set on the Rama record label, and up next, this one on the Rama label. This is a request going out to George, the lead singer for this group. Also did lead for the Dixie Airs on the Harlem label, and the Kings on Baton, and the Ravens on Argo, just to name a few. And in 1955, he teamed up with group members Willie Ray, Bob Cornegay, and Willie Sanders to record as the Bells. And as I mentioned, this is on George Goldner's Rama record label. It's a 1955, and this one here I forgot to mention his name. The lead singer's name is none other than Joe Van Loan. Joe Van Loan, he's the lead. This one from July 1955 going out to George Tompkins. These are the Bells on the Rama label. It's called What Can I Tell Her Now?
But what can I tell her now? Yes, I've told her about the birds, about the bees, all about the trees. Yes, but what can I tell her now? I've told her about the time when we were all alone. The time she said she loved me, when she would always be my own. I've told her this is the end. If we're not lovers, we can't be friends. Oh, but what can I tell her now? Yes, but what can I tell her now?
Wow, what a voice on Mr. Joe Van Loan there, and the Bells from July 1955 going out to George Tompkins. What Can I Tell Her Now is the name of that one on George Goldner's Rama record label. That is a cool tune. That is not easy record to find either on a 45. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s. Saw this one in the box. I figured, told you I'm going ad hoc tonight. And our third release on the Rama label. This is actually the 45 that got your host Johnny G collecting, because it was a 45 my aunt purchased back in the fall of 1955. And I just actually lost another aunt, my Aunt Valerie. She passed away, I think it was the 12th. And the funeral and wake was in the middle of the week, and I had all this work to do. It was just crazy and very sad. But again, a part of life we need to deal with. We'll have the memories, as I do, of my aunt, as she used to play this 45 for me from November 1955, Richard Barrett and the Valentines on the Rama label. It's called I Love You, Darling.
I love you, darling. I love you so. I love you, darling. I love you so. I love you, darling. And I won't ever let you go. Never let you go. I need you, baby. I need you.
November 1955 release there on George Goldner's Rama record label. Those are the Valentines with I Love You, Darling. I think that was that follow-up to Lily Mae Bell. I think that was it. And 45 Mayan had that record, Lily Mae Bell, and that, their next release. And a great tune that is. Flipside's nice too. It's called Hand Me Down Love. That is a great tune also. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s. We continue here for another request. This time again for the Colonel for this group. Actually, I think they were a group of brothers from Columbus, Ohio. They began recording back in 1948 on the Capitol label. Then for another label called Mystery and Apollo Records and the Derby label. And this is their second of two on Bess Berman's Apollo label. And they're called the Striders. And Eugene Strider is on lead. This one from September of 1955 on Bess Berman's Apollo record label. Let's give a listen to the Striders with Hesitating Fool.
I'm a hesitating fool, and that's what I've always been. Whatever game I play, I feel the same old way, for I can't seem to win. I'm a hesitating fool, I can't even get a start. The phrases that I say all seem to disobey the feelings in my heart. I need somebody who I could give my confidence to. I hope someday to find just the one I have in mind. I'm a hesitating fool, I'll always be that way too. Unless by turn of fate I wouldn't hesitate if I met one like you. I need somebody who I could give my confidence to. I hope someday to find just the one I have in mind. I'm a hesitating fool, I'll always be that way too. Unless by turn of fate I wouldn't hesitate if I met one like you.
That's from September 1955 there. By request for the Colonel, that is those are the Striders from September 1955. It's called Hesitating Fool, Bess Berman's Apollo record label, and it sounded a little earlier, more of a popish vocal group harmony, but still great vocalizing with this group. And this group also backed up Dolores Martin on the Mystery label, Savannah Churchill. They backed up on Arco and Regal, Betty McLaurin and Maureen McKay Cannon, also on the Derby label. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl 45s for a snowy night here in New York City. And let's continue here with a flip side from last week. This one on Buddy Lucas's Steamboat record label. And I featured this group out of White Plains, New York. They were called the Swans. Featured the B-side of the 45. It was called Believe in Me. Featured the lead of Ray Roberts, but the intended A-side was written by the label owner, Buddy Lucas, but features Charlie Sharrock on lead. And this, again, as I said last week, it was my first major find. This one from 1956. They're called the Swans. It's on Steamboat. It's called In the Morning.
One of these mornings, and it won't be long, you look for me, baby, and I'll be gone early in the morning, before the break of day. Gonna pack my clothes, baby, on my merry way. In the morning, well, before the dawning. In the morning, pretty baby, well, just before day. I love you, baby, I love you with all my might. Well, look at your little honey child, why can't you treat me right? In the morning, well, even before the dawning. In the morning, pretty baby, well, just before day. I'm leaving you, baby, I'm going away to stay. But look at that little honey child, I won't be back this way. In the morning, well, before the dawning. In the morning, pretty baby, well, just before day, yeah, well. Love you, baby, a long time ago. I'm giving you little honey child, I thought that you should know. In the morning, well, before the dawning. In the morning, pretty baby, well, just before day. Well, in the morning, oh, I'm leaving you, child. In the morning, gonna be gone for a long, long while. In the morning, well, child, I love you, baby. I love you.
Yeah, those are the Swans on Steamboat. Swans on, that's a cool up-tempo. I like that. Both sides of that 45 are a great find for 15 cents. You really can't go wrong. The Swans from 1956. In the Morning, it's on the Steamboat record label. That side, Charlie Sharrock. He's the lead singer on that, a local group to your host, Johnny G, as we continue here. And last week I played a request. I think it was Richard. You requested I played the Squires, or was it the Titans? What did I play last week for you, Richard? I forget. I know it was on the Vital label. You got to bear with Johnny G this week. You do. But we were talking about the Vital label, I think, and it was Rockin' Ed that mentioned it. That he asked me if I had the Squires, but I can't remember what I played last week. The Titans, I think I did for Richard. But anyway, let's go out to Pasadena, California now. That's where this group is from. They're called the Squires on Larry Mead's Vita record label. But they had earlier releases, this group, on the Kicks label, Mambo, and then they recorded for the Vita label. This is their fourth and final release on Vita, and goes out to Rockin' Ed. Where are you, Rockin' Ed? And it's from April of 56. Lee Goudreau, that's how you say it. Lee Goudreau is on lead. It's from April 56 on the Vita label. These are the Squires with Venus.
I had a dream last night of a girl dressed in white. She was dancing on a cloud way up high in the sky. I then asked her name. She replied in a faint, I am Venus, the goddess of love. She then stepped down from the cloud so very high. Then she took my hand and said, my man, you were lonely, very lonely, very lonely. Then she explained why she came, but she mustn't remain, for there's others like you who are lonely too, very lonely, very lonely, very lonely. Then she turned toward the cloud so very high. As she faded in the sky, I heard her cry, goodbye.
That's going out to Rockinette. I like that record there by the Squires, April 1956. Actually, the tempo changes there. It sounded a little bit offbeat there by the time it went into the, was it the bongos? Whatever they were playing there, the bongos, but that's a cool record. Jackie Kelso and the orchestra. I think he owned part of the label, Vital label too. The Squires, April 1956, their fourth release on the Vita label. It's called Venus. As we continue in 1956, and here's a 45 that kicked off a Jack and William Angels Neil label, and it's the debut single for this group from Brooklyn, New York, and was written by Les Cooper. Les Cooper, of course, you know that instrumentally had a hit called Wiggle Wobble on the Everlast label, and this one requested by Nat Papagallo. Nat, you're in the nice warm weather down in Naples, Florida, and did I sell you a copy? You said you had this in your jukebox. I might have sold you my duplicate of this. Maybe I didn't, because I did have a duplicate of this record. But anyway, the lead singer on this one is Ronnie Watson, going out to Nat Papagallo from August 1956. These are the Young Lads on Neil. It's called Moonlight. Wait a minute. It's better. That's by request for Nat Papagallo. Those are the Young Lads. Young Lads from August 1956. Kitty Leeds here on the Vinyltreasure Show called Moonlight, Neil Records. That kicked off the Neil record label. It's not really a lot of 45s on that label. I think there's maybe 8 or not, maybe 10. No, but of course the Monarchs' Pretty Little Girl is on there. They have their other release on there. There's Kingsman. There's a bunch of records on the Neil label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show for this next group. They're called the Angels, a group out of Newark, New Jersey. They formed in 1955, and they have this lone release as we go to George Goldner's G label this time. Played 3 records on the Rama label. This one's on his G label, and it features Nelson Martin. He's the first tenor. Bill Wright is the baritone. Melvin Maxwell is the bass, and the lead singer goes by the name of Bernard Lynn. And this one from October 56. These are the Angels on G. Give a listen to their rendition of the tune Glory of Love.
You got to give a little, take a little, let your boy break a little. Give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Give a little, take a little, let your heart break a little. You got to laugh a little, cry a little, and let the clouds roll by a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. Glory of love. As love is there, the two of us, we've got this world and all of its charms. But when the world is through with us, we shall have each other's arms. You've got to take a little, let your heart break a little, win a little, lose a little, and always have the blues a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. The glory of love.
Gotta send that one out to George Tompkins. Those are the Angels. The Angels from October 1956. They're from Newark, New Jersey. That one there on George Goldner's G record label. Their version of The Glory of Love. I think that goes back to 1936. That song, Willie Bryant recorded that, I think, initially. Then also the Five Keys do a great version of that, as I'm sure many of you know, as we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Now, here's a request for young listener Evan Blatt. And he currently is in our YouTube chat room. He wants to hear the Pretenders. The Pretenders, as we go back to George Goldner's Rama record label. This one from October 1956. Jimmy Jones on lead. Actually, it's Jimmy Jones and the Pretenders on Rama, and their tune called Plain Old Love.
Boo, 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 boo.
What sets your soul
you want to live? What makes you want to forgive? As sure as the stars up above, it's plain old
As by request for Evan Blatt, that's Jimmy Jones and the Pretenders, October 1956. Song entitled Plain Old Love, George Goldner's Rama record label. That song was written by Andrew Barksdale, and he's the bass of the group. You heard the bass in the song there, and he was also the bass of the Sparks of Rhythm, who was Jimmy Jones's old group. And again, before Jimmy Jones started having his solo hits in the 1960s on the Cub label, like Handyman and Good Timin' and so many others, he was a member of a few groups. I mentioned the Sparks of Rhythm on Apollos and Savoy. And also they were the Jones Boys, I think, is another group on Arrow Records. And the Pretenders, of course, had other releases, not only on Rama Whirling Disc, Holiday Records, Central, and Apt, but we just heard the second of two on George Goldner's Rama label. And for some reason, Goldner put this record out twice. So if you collect the Rama label like I do, it comes out as Rama number 207 and Rama 210. I think the one I played was 207. I'll show you 210 because I have it there up on the pile. I was listening which one sounded better. They're not in great shape, both my copies of this. But anyway, that's a cool 45. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Now, last week, I played a request for Richard Fox. He wanted to hear Billy Mann and A Million Heartaches Ago, and also Richard mentioned if I would flip it over. I think Ed wanted to hear the flip too, because both sides of this record are great in my opinion. But let's flip it over here. Billy Mann, the tune written by Johnny Otis's wife, Phyllis Otis, and an Italian trumpeter by the name of Frank Gallo. I wonder if he did the Gallo one. I don't know. Just Johnny G kind of trying to get loose from working all week. But anyway, let's flip that 45 over from September 1956. Billy Mann and a group, somebody, the J.O.'s or whoever, backing him up here. But it's a cool tune. It's on Johnny Otis's Dig record label. It's called Just Like Before.
I've known of love before, two lips that I adore. I've known a warm embrace, caressed a tender face. Oh, my heart hurts like before, just like before. I've known a kiss before that made me yearn for more. I've known a small desire to start a raging fire. Oh, my heart hurts like before, just like before. I know my heart is not a plaything, although it's treated like a toy. For once it was a young and gay thing, and not a plaything to be destroyed. I've known this secret before. My go on without you like before. What if you more? Just like before.
Just like before.
Wow, that's a great record. Got to send that one out to Richard Fox. He likes that one too. That's top on his list. I have to agree, that is a great tune there by Billy Mann and a girl group in the background there. September 1956, Just Like Before. It's on the Dig record label. Comes two ways. I think the blue and the silver is the first, and the pink and the black Dig is the second. I don't know which one. I think the pink and the black came later because, like, my Gladiators is on that label. That's a rare record on that label too, by the way. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s on a snowy evening here in New York City. Hope you're enjoying the tunes as we continue here. And played a request for George Tompkins last week by a group called The Vibes. On the ABC Paramount record label from March of 57. It was called Darling. Let's flip the 45 over before I file it back down in the no humidity basement. It's a cool up-tempo. The Vibes from March 57. This is on ABC Paramount. It's called Come Back Baby.
Baby, won't you tell me that you love me, pretty baby, baby, baby? Well, I really, really love you, pretty baby, baby, baby. I really, really do, yes, I mean it, pretty baby, when I say I love you. Ooh, pretty baby, while I'm down on my knees, and I'm begging you, please, babe. You know I really need your love more than the stars above. Yes, I really need you, baby. Well, I didn't say maybe, maybe, pretty baby. Well, that's not what I mean. Now, come on, sweetie baby, let me back on the scene. Ooh, pretty baby, let me back on the scene. To me, you mean everything, babe. Stars above, yes, I really need you, baby. Well, I didn't say maybe, maybe, pretty baby. Well, that's not what I mean. Now, come on, sweetie baby, let me back on the scene. Ooh, pretty baby, let me back on the scene. To me, you mean everything, babe. My pretty baby, baby, baby. Yes, you know I really love you, pretty baby, baby, baby. I can never do without you, pretty baby, baby, baby. I really, really do. Yes, I mean it, pretty baby, when I say I love you. Ooh, pretty baby, while I'm down on my knees, and I'm begging you, please, babe. You know I really need your love more than the stars above. Yes, I really need you, baby. Well, I didn't say maybe, maybe, pretty baby. Well, that's not what I mean. Now, come on, pretty baby, let me back on the scene. Ooh, pretty baby, let me back on the scene. To me, you mean everything, babe. My pretty baby, baby, baby. Yes, you know I really love you, pretty baby, baby, baby. I can never do without you, pretty baby, baby, baby. I really, really do. Yes, I mean it, pretty baby, when I say I love you. Ooh, pretty baby, well, I really, really do. I mean it when I say I love you.
March 1957 there. They're called The Vibes. The Vibes on the ABC Paramount record label. Their tune called Come Back Baby reminds me of another record. Is it the Vocal Tones? Is somebody else that song reminds me of another tune. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl from 1957. Let's go to August of 57. We head out to the West Coast to Dootsy Williams' Duto Records for this one. And you know this group. They're called the Cufflinks. They do a song called Guided Missiles. I forget which number this one is, but Guided Missiles written by Alfred Gatewood. He also wrote this tune for the Cufflinks, and it features Robert Truesdale on lead. I like this tune also. Give a listen to the Cufflinks on Duto with their tune called It's Too Late Now.
Time is running out, a new love I found.
It's too late now. everybody know. Now you want to get romantic. Oh, it's too late now. You and I are through. It's too late now to ever start anew. It wouldn't be the same anyhow. But darling, it's too late now. Too late
Sounds of California here on the Vinyltreasure Show. They like that tune. That's a great record. Used to hear that on the R&B Review. I don't know, it was maybe on George Duop Tompkins played that record. Somebody played that record on when I was a young kid writing that one down. Robert Truesdale on lead, August 1957. It's Too Late Now. It's on Duto Records. Johnny G here spinning original vinyl. We continue here. And I didn't get a chance to research this one, but this is a rare 45. I don't know what it goes for in the books now, but I think it's from 1957. I think they had the wrong date where, I don't know, somebody listed it in the book, but it's from 57, and I don't know where Infinity Records is from, but it's a rare white group, and from they're called The Saints, and it mentions all the members of the group on the label. It's on Infinity Records. It's The Saints. It's called My Only Love.
So nice if you love me too, but now that you've gone, I've nothing to do but spend all my days just thinking about you. I know I've done you wrong, I've cheated you. So foolish, for you're my only one. You come back to me. I promise you I'll never part from you. I mean it too, 'cause you're my only one, and I worship you.
Hear that echo at the end. Yes, that is a rare record. That is a rare record. No, they're not from Brooklyn, Nat. They cannot be. They're from somewhere in the Midwest. They have to be. I can tell from the label, the way the print of the label. They might be from the Ohio. Maybe Richard Fox can check. They might be from the Ohio area there. I can tell from the label that it does. What do I have? The Jades. What label are the Jades on? Another white group similar to that. But anyway, it's a rare 45, I have to admit. I didn't pay as much as the chat room, as Robert mentions in the chat room, but I paid a lot for that record. Not many collectors have it. It's actually a pretty nice ballad by that group. They're called The Saints. It's on Infinity Records, not the West Coast Infinity label. It's called My Only Love. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue with the request. This one for Nat. Nat, you have this in your jukebox also. This great group from Lancaster, South Carolina. They got together while in high school, and they met up with Ernie Young, owner of the Excello label out of Nashville, Tennessee. They signed them. They released 4 on Excello. This was their first. Written by the lead singer. This was a big hit on WFOX, a big number 3 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So, Brian, did you ever, I know you heard of the song, but do you know where that station is, WFOX? And also, this was a number 3 on WEOW in Albany, New York. And of course, the Diamonds had the bigger hit, which a lot of collectors prefer the Diamonds version of this, believe it or not. I know Bobby J, the disc jockey, he prefers the Diamonds version of this. But anyway, this one, a request for Nat from December 56. These are the Gladiolas, Gladiolas with Maurice Williams on lead on Excello Records, and the original version of Little Darlin'. Is the original Little Darling by the Gladiolas, going out to Nat Papagallo, released in December of 56 on Ernie Young's Excello record label, and that is the original version. Again, that tune there, as I got a program note for you guys tuning into the Vinyltreasure Show. I'll be filling in Wednesday night for Ramtown Mike. I'll be doing a countdown starting at actually 8 o'clock, so I'll be on early. I think it's 8 o'clock. And I'm going to be doing a countdown of an R&B radio station. It's I have it right here in the paper. Here it is. It's a copy. It's WABQ. It's out of Cleveland, Ohio. This is from August 15th of 1960. So it's got a wide variety of interesting songs. I have a lot of them, not all of them. Barbara's coming here tomorrow. I have to go through. I got to find some stuff on ABC and Capitol that are not filed or not where they're supposed to be, but it's a pretty interesting survey. You'll be surprised at the number one record, by the way. But I'll be doing that Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock. And I'll be off early, 8 to 11. It's a school night for Johnny G. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure, of course, the Gladiolas, Maurice Williams and the Gladiolas became Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs, and it relates to this next record. This is an unreleased song. Well, Relic Records put it out on an LP. It was called The Best of Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. I think it came out back in 1974 when I was buying Relic LPs back then. And Tom Trabosky, who owned the Owl label, put out all this unreleased material on a 45, which was pretty cool because I think I have the majority of the stuff on the Owl label. But this group recorded 8 singles for Herald, but this one was never released, but it was put out on that LP. It's well, they're called the Gladiolas, but by this time they were Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. This was recorded in 1961. It's on the Owl label, and it's called We're Lovers. Unreleased songs here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Well, they are released now. That's the Gladiolas, a.k.a. Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. And Maurice wrote that tune. 1961, I think, is the date for that one. We're Lovers is the name of the tune. I have it on the Owl label. What was cool with Owl Records is they called them the gladiolas on this, so they made whatever the group recorded their label, whatever the colors of that label were, they would color the record labels that color. Like there's a Spaniels that comes out on brown, there's a Monotones that's on red for the whole label. So pretty cool thinking for who was the label owner. His name was Tom Trabosky. As Johnny G continues here for a Saturday evening, we move into 1958, and I guess I listened to the flip side of this. I said, but I'm going to play it anyway because of the baseball scandal that has been going on with recording the catchers with the signs. That's not. It's one thing to see it visually. It's another thing to like record it from afar and then to transmit it to the. I think that's cheating. That is truly cheating with technology, and it kind of relates to this next song because last week I played a request for George Tompkins by Johnny Darling, a.k.a. Calvin Khaki Roulette, who was recorded as Johnny Darling, and the song I played was I Don't Want to Wind Up in Love, a great ballad, but the flip side's a cool up-tempo, and we're going to give it a spin here from July 1958. Johnny Darling, a.k.a. Calvin Roulette. It's on Deluxe Records. It's called Baseball Baby.
Baseball, baby, you'd better make a home run. Well, baseball, baby, you done had your fun. 'Cause I saw the game that you played last night. You can't play ball in the pale moonlight. Baseball, baby, you better make a home run. Baseball, baby, you better make a home run. Well, baseball, baby, you done had your fun. I saw you play ball in the wrong ballpark. You can't play baseball in the dark. Baseball, baby, you better make a home run. You leave every evening, leaving me grieving with a crying face. You come back every morning around about dawn, and my heart never makes first base. Baseball, baby, you better make a home run. Strike one. Look what you done done. Ball one. Strike two. Baby, what you gonna do? Strike three. And next you need baseball, baby. You better make a home run. Well, baseball, baseball, baby, you better make a home run. Baseball, baby, baseball, baby, baseball, baby, baseball, baby, baseball, baby, baseball, baby.
Yeah, there's some coaching vacancies. One in New York, I guess. Also with the Astro, no, I don't know about the Astro. Did they fire? Yeah, they did. And also in Boston. Anyway, though, that's Johnny Darling, a.k.a. Calvin Roulette, July 1958, on Sid Nathan's deluxe label. Baseball Baby is the name of that one. Johnny G here, continuing with the requests. And here's one for Richard Fox here, this great this group out of Newark, New Jersey, but they have this lone release on the Jamie label out of Philadelphia. It features Johnny Jones on lead. He was the older brother to female soul singer Linda Jones. And we're going to give a listen to the intended A-side. Richard requested the intended A-side of the tune. This one released in September 1958. Here are the 5 chords. The 5 chords going out to Rich on Jamie. It's called Don't Just Stand There.
Start a fire. I've been yearning, my lips are burning. You're my one desire. Don't just stand there. Come and hold me and don't let go. Let love bind us. Let love bind us. Let the whole world know. Let the whole world know that I love you so. Let the whole world see that you're in love with me. I've been praying to meet somebody who'll be mine eternally. So don't just stand there. Do something. Give your heart to me. Give your heart to me.
And by request for Richard Fox, September 1958 there for the 5 chords. The 5 chords with Johnny Jones on lead. Don't Just Stand There is the name of the tune. It's on the Jamie label. Yes, the flip side's a great tune. Love is Like Music. That will be coming on next week for sure. And this song was actually covered also by the Teen Kings on the Willette label in 1959. Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45. Let's continue here. Actually got a twin spin on the Vulcan label. I don't think it's not the same Vulcan label, I think from Mobile, Alabama. That's a different label. This one is from this is New York City. This has Sammy Lowe involvement in. And actually, this record was picked up. Many of you collectors may own this on the second label, the John, I think it's the John label, Jon Records. Because this group, this came out on John, and then they have another one on John that's harder to find. But anyway, I'm talking about a group called The Valets. The Valets, a song written by the lead singer. His name is Clarence Scott. This one from June of 1958. We got to send this one out especially to North Dakota Bob. This goes out to North Dakota Bob because I know he loves tunes with a girl's name of this girl. Anyway, let's give it a spin. This is the first press, The Valets on the Vulcan label with Sherry.
Sherry, I really love you so. I'll never let you go because you're my Sherry. Sherry, captured my heart.
Yeah.
Right from the very start. Well, every night when stars shine bright, I want you by my side. Oh, now your lips are sweet, a sherry wine, and just to think that they are mine, sherry. You really ought to know how much I love you so. A sweet, a sherry wine, and just to think that they are mine, sherry. You really ought to know how much I love you so. Sherry.
That's going out to North Dakota Bob. He's going to tune in on the archive, the valets there. Clarence Scott on lead, June 1958. Sherry, parentheses, I Really Love You So is the name of that one. Featured on the first label, the Vulcan label. It also came out on the John label. And then they have another release on John. But I think on that John label, it mentions something about a TV show. And I don't know if that was true or not, but it's not on the Vulcan release. Anyway, let's stay in the same month and year for the next Vulcan release here. As a twin spin on the Vulcan label. These aren't easy to find, these records. So this one also came out on another label, by the way. But I'm sure many of you are familiar with a song by Johnny Mathis. He had somewhat of a hit with a song called A Certain Smile. But it was done initially by this artist. This artist did it first, and I think for some movie. I think that song was a theme to a movie, I think it was. Anyway, this one from June of 58. This is a twin spin on the Vulcan label. His name is Milton Sparks. Milton Sparks. This is on Vulcan. It's called the original version of A Certain Smile.
A certain smile, a certain face can read an unsuspecting heart on a merry chase. A fleeting glance can say so many lovely things. Suddenly you know why Paris sings. You love a while, and when love goes, you try to hide the tears inside with a cheerful pose. But in the hush of night, exactly like a bittersweet refrain, comes that certain smile to haunt your heart again. But in the hush exactly like a bittersweet refrain comes that certain smile to haunt your heart
As Milton Sparks and a group there with the original version of A Certain Smile, June 1958, featured it on the Vulcan label. You heard that scratch. There's like a deep scratch on there, but didn't ruin my needle, I don't think. But anyway, I don't know what the group is backing them up, but that's Milton Sparks. Also came out on the Hunt label. Dick Clark really driving the Hunt record label back in 1958. He was so instrumental with the Quintones and Down the Aisle of Love and other records that came out. I think the Virtues record also, that instrumental. But again, he had to get out of either he's got to stay with American Bandstand or he's got to get out of his record companies and pressing plants that he was involved with. So he decided, I guess he made the right choice, because the producer of American Bandstand, the guy starts with an M. I forget his name, starts with an M. He ended up staying with Chancellor Records, and they went bankrupt eventually, but Dick Clark kept on going. Anyway, Johnny G here, spinning original vinyl 45s. Kind of embarrassed about this next record, although it is so rare, and I was even lucky to get it because it's got terrible label tears. Some collectors would never buy this record with the label tears, but I just liked the song. And I said, when am I really going to see this? Maybe I can color in the labels or laser it in somehow, but never really did this. But anyway, this group is from the Bronx, New York, or actually maybe not, the label is Zell Sanders' Dice record label. Actually, her daughter, Johnny Richardson, was actually in charge of this label. No, she wasn't in charge. She just had it in name rights, but her mother was Zell Sanders. And there's some rare records on the label. The Shalons I'm looking for, the Teen Clefs I'm looking for, and this is a hard one to get too. They're called the Premiers. It's from 1958. It's on Dice Records. It's called Little Angel Face.
Little angel face, pretty eyes, wavy hair and dimple smile. I wonder is this love? Is it true? Is it real? My angel face. If it is infatuation or love, gee, what a thrill, angel. If this is love, the way I love to feel. When I met you, I thought I would always be free, but you filled my heart with so much ecstasy. Now we're together. Oh yes, yes, I'm happy too. If this is love, infatuation will have to do. Sweet little angel face, pretty eyes. This feeling we can't describe. I wonder, is it real? Is it true? Is this angel
Yeah, Det Warren, I have to say, an ugly label, but a great song. And actually, the wax is really nice. Those are the Premiers from 1958 on the Dice label, Little Angel Face. is the name of that one. Chris Ciccone sold me that 45. I kind of whittled him down. He had a lot of money. He said, Chris, come on, the label is messed up. And a lot of collectors, they buy for the label. I mean, I could buy a reissue for all that matters if I wanted the sound, but you got to go down. It's an original, I says, but lower, and he did. I got him to lower. I had to beg, though. I had to beg and plead. But anyway, let's continue here. Let's move into 1959. And last week I played a request for Richard Fox by the Carnations, a tune written by Louis Van Dyke. He was also the lead singer of the group. And Rich requested Love Open Up My Heart. And also, Rich mentioned the flip was pretty nice, up-tempo, and it is. So we're going to give it a spin here. From September 59, it's on Enrica Records. These are the Carnations. The Carnations on Enrica. It's called Gimme, Gimme, Gimme.
Oh, give me this, give me that, give me that, give me what you promised to me. Oh, give me what you promised me, baby. Give me what you promised to me. You said that you were mine, and my love would always be. You know I miss your love, and I'm down in misery. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, baby. Give me what you gave me before. Said I had a kisses, but knocked up on your door. Crazy about love, I gotta come back from what I said. I said, baby, 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 you know I gotta get it. Baby, 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 you know I just can't quit it. What you promised me, baby, 'cause I gotta come back for more. Hey!
That group called the Carnations. The Carnations from September 1959. Louis Van Dyke's on lead. He also wrote the tune, that one there on the Enrica label. Yes, Brian also. The Butanes is pretty nice on that label. I also have, yes, Screamin' Jay Hawkins on the label too. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, and when I played... I did a tribute show for my late Aunt Mary. One of the records that she did purchase in the summer of 1959 was the Skyliners on the Calico label, and It Happened Today. She also played the flip side of that, a great ballad. And I saw Jimmy Beaumont. Actually, he died a week after he performed locally here at the Music Hall. I went with Barbara to a concert there. I think she brought me tickets for my birthday or something, whatever it was, and we went there, and I saw him perform locally here in town, and then a week later he was gone. But great voice, and I love this tune. It brings back memories of not only my aunt, but also when I used to hear it on the Gus Gossard Show. He would play this too. It's from July 59, Calico Records here. Jimmy Beaumont on lead. Give a listen to the Skyliners with the B-side of It Happened Today. It's called Lonely Way. Oh, wrong one. There you go.
I'll go my lonely way. Now that you're gone, I'll walk the lonely streets from dusk to dawn. If I can't walk along with you, then I'll go my lonely way. I've had my chance for romance, to give my heart anew. But when you said goodbye, dear, you know you took my heart and soul with you. I'll say a prayer each night for your return, until you're home again. My heart will yearn till you are in my arms again. I'll go my lonely
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. The Skyliners there with Lonely Way, July 1959. That's the B-side to It Happened Today. It came out on the Calico record label. Let's continue here. Here's a request for Evan. Evan requested this New Haven, Connecticut group, the Five Satins. The Five Satins here. Great two-sided 45, by the way. This is on Dick Lawrence's Another First label. And Al Silver involvement on here. Ember record owner Al Silver and Dick Lawrence combined on a record deal. And this comes two ways, by the way. This is on like an orange label, and it comes out like on a light green label, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Fred Paris, going out to Evan from May of 59. The Five Satins on Another First. It's called When Your Love Comes Along.
No one knows what I go through, and the tears I shed for you. When your love comes along, you will know she's meant for you.
That's a request going out to Evan. The Five Satins there. Five Satins, May 1959. It's on Another First Records. It's called When Your Love Comes Along. The flip side's good too, so guess what? You're going to hear it next week. How about a twin spin by the Five Satins? We go to the Ember label for this one. And I forget where I first heard this. Might have been Gus Gossard, I think, also. This one from January 61, though. The Five Satins here on Ember with their tune called Wishing Ring.
You are
Twin spin there by the Five Satins. January 61 for that one. Wishing Ring is the name of that tune. Came out on the Ember record label. Let's continue here, and here's a request for Rich Fox, this group from Lake Charles, Louisiana. They had a big hit in 1959 with the song Matilda on Judd Phillips' Judd label. Now, Judd Phillips was the brother of Sam Phillips, and here's their third release on the Judd record label, co-written by the lead singer. His name is Huey Cookie Theory. I think that's how you pronounce it, or Theory. Got to check it again. You got to forgive Johnny G tonight. But this one charted number 5 on KNUZ out of Houston, Texas, by request for Rich from June 59, Cookie and the Cupcakes on Judd. It's called Until Then. I'm getting caught up on the times there, Fred. By request for Richard Fox there. That's a cool tune by a group called Cookie and the Cupcakes, June 1959. Until Then came out on the Judd label. I used to walk home from high school down Broadway, and I used to pass a Woolworths, so I would go in there occasionally to look at their they would have all these records for sale, 4 for $1, in those plastic, they would put them in the plastic paper, the paper, they'd be like 25 copies of the same record. So I'm looking through countless duplicates of Gordy, Motown, and Tamla 45, Smash Records, Fontana Records, and I come across a record on the Lyric label, which is really a subsidiary of this Judd label, and it's by Cookie and the Cupcakes, and it's Until Then, because then I know it came out also on the Lyric label. I'm like, what is this record doing amongst all these other ones? Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. Now, last week, we move into 1960 now, and last week I played a request for George Tompkins by the Marquis. They were out of California, and it was on the Joanne label. It was their first release on Joanne. It was called Stay With Me. and it featured Terry Brown on lead. That was the intended B-side of the 45. Let's give a listen to the intended A-side, which is a very cool cha-cha. I like these cha-cha beats. I don't know what it is, maybe because my aunt did, but I do too. And I like this record from October 1960. These are the Marquis on the Joanne label. This is the A-side. It's called That's the Way I Feel. October 1960 there for the first release on the Joanne label for a group called the Marquis. A nice cha-cha beat there with a flute in the background. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel every Saturday, spinning original vinyl 45s out of my collection. Let's continue here, and we stay out in California as this group sounds a lot like The Innocents, the same group that backed up Kathy Young, but they're called the Gentones. And it's a great tune, in my opinion, as we head out to California. It's from May of '61, not a cheapo record either. It's on a label called Casino, but it's a California label. May '61, the Gentones. It's called, parentheses, Thank Her For Me, City Lights.
See from above, and I guess I'll live until tomorrow, thinking only of her love. If you see her, tell her that I understand. Will you thank her for giving the warmth of her hand? If you see her, thank her for me. City
There you go, out of California there. They're called the Gentones. The Gentones sounding a lot like the Innocents, I think. Anyway, that May 61, Thank Her For Me, City Lights. It's on the Casino label, another Jerry Diaz special California record that he sold to Johnny G. Let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Now, last week, I played a tune for Warren. No, or was it 2 weeks ago? I forget. It was 2 weeks ago. I played a group called the Marathons on Sabrina. And then I think it was George that sent out, I played a record on behalf of George for Warren by the Misfits on the Aries label. It was another version of I Don't Know from 1961. But let's flip over that Aries 45 by the Misfits from 61, because the flip side's pretty nice. It's a song called Midnight Star.
Once upon a dreamy midnight star, I wish that I could be where you are as I gaze at the star in the sky. I remember, darling, when you were mine, your face so pure, like heaven divine. Then you left me. Why did you hurt me so? As I get stars above, that I knew, my darling, that you love me too, Shetty. As I get stars above, then I knew that your pride kept you back. Once upon a dreamy midnight star, I wish that I could be where you are as I gaze at the star in the sky.
I think a group called the Brentwoods might have recorded that one first on the Dore label, and this was the cover of it. Not absolutely sure, but anyway, those are the Misfits. The Misfits on the Aries label out of Los Angeles, 1961, with their version of Midnight Star. Johnny G here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. Really don't know how much longer I can go, but as long as you guys are in the chat room, I am going to go. And let's continue here. We stay in California, and we flip over a request from last week for the Colonel, a very rare 45 on the Tory Limited label as out of Hollywood, California, by Charles Andrea and the High Tones. The side I played last week was Open Up Your Heart, but both sides of this record are excellent. From April of 1960, these are Charles Andrea and the High Tones on Tory LTD, Tory Limited, and this is the flip side. It's called Didn't We Have a Nice Time?
My darling, we have party. Darling, we dine. But why are you crying? Why are you sighing? Tell me, didn't we have a nice time? A very nice time. Darling, you're so wonderful. Sweet, oh so grand. But why are you crying? My love's undying. Dry your eyes, come on and smile. Didn't we have a nice time? A very nice time. I'm sorry, so sorry, losing my cool. I know now I was to blame. Oh, darling, please forgive this fool. I'm sorry for what I said. Oh, please forgive me. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Don't send me home. Let's talk it over. Come on and smile. Didn't we have a nice time? Didn't we? Tell me, didn't we? Didn't we have a nice time?
As good to the last drop, Rare California Sound there by Charles Andrea and the High Tones, April 1960 release on Tory Limited. It's called Didn't We Have a Nice Time? That's a great closer, it is. Johnny G not yet to close down. As we continue here, we stick with the request. This one going out to Nat Papagallo if he's up at this late hour. And this group, they're from the Bronx, New York, and they are doing a cover tune. This was first recorded by the Selections on the Antone label back in 1958. This cover is from September 1961. This was picked up nationally. You may own it on the Felsted label, but it first came out 3 months earlier. It came out 3 months. Well, the Felsted came out 3 months after this release on the Cousins label. It features Bobby Falcone on lead by request for Nat. These are the Camerons. The Camerons on the Cousins label with their rendition of the tune Guardian Angel.
Whenever I'm lonely, whenever I'm blue, I'll fall asleep and dream of you. Each night before I go to bed, bend my knees and bow my head, I pray to the angels up above, send someone to love. Ba-da-ba-da-boom-dee-dee, ba-da-ba-da-boom-dee-dee, guardian angels up above, send someone to love. Make her be so sweet and fair. Make her have like golden hair. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. First came the oceans and then came the seas. When the angel thought of you, they must have thought of me. Well, 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 well. First came the oceans and then came the seas. When the angel sent you, they must have thought of me. Well, 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 ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. As I walk the sunny streets, heart starts jumping every girl I meet. The only girl from high above, the only girl I'll ever love. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Ba-da, ba-da, boom, dee-ay-dee. Baby, really love you so. Never let you go.
By request for Nat Papagallo, those are the cousins. No, the Camerons. I'm messing up. The Camerons on the Cousins label, September 1961, and their cover of the tune Guardian Angel. As we continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show, we head to the Bronx, New York for this next group. A great two-sided 45 came out on the CB label. This is a request for Richard Fox. A cool, great, both sides of this record are good. The group consisted of Douglas Rodriguez, he was the lead singer, Patrick Gall, Francisco Zubalaka, Hector Ruiz, and Fred Campos. Collectively, they were known as the Rialtos. This one from November 1963, and Rich requested the ballad side. It's on the CB label. Here are the Rialtos with It Hurts. I love that tune. That's a great record there by the Rialtos, November 1963. Came out on the CB label. I have only 3 records on that CB label. A song entitled It Hurts. Now, the lead singer of the group, David Douglas Rodriguez, he said he mentioned had a mention on YouTube that this record was released the very day that President Kennedy was killed in November of 1963, and they were not playing anything, nothing was going on during that time as far as music was concerned. So if your record came out that week, it was unfortunate because of the tragic death of the president. But anyway, and it's too bad because that is a great tune. Johnny G here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. Back to the request, this time for Evan Blatt. This is a hard record to find on the original label, and some of you may own this on the Cape label, but the original label this came out on was Morty Craft's Trans Atlas label. By the way, Warwick Records then morphed into this label, Trans Atlas, the same numbering sequence. So if you collect by label after the last Warwick release, you got to continue with the Trans Atlas label. But anyway, the group is out of Brooklyn, New York, and this is their debut single, actually, from 1962. Robert Burton is on lead. So by request for Evan, these are the Cacti's. The Cacti's I'm featuring on the original label Trans Atlas with Walking in the Rain.
Just walking in the rain, just getting soaking wet. I'm thinking how we met. Somehow I just can't forget. Oh no, 'cause I'm in the rain. I'm soaking wet. I feel like baby. I'm on my knees, begging you please, come back to me. I need your love and your heart. If you take me back, baby, I'll play my part, for in the rain, I'm soaking wet. I feel no pain.
That's by thundering and lightning here. No, it's snowing. It's snowing. It's not. Although there is lightning with snow, I have seen that. But that's by request for Evan. Those are the Cacti's from 1962 on the original label Trans Atlas with Walking in the Rain. Much harder to find than the styrene Cape 45s. Johnny G here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. Here's a request for Nat Papagallo, this group from Elmont, Long Island. This was their only release, came out on Frank Allen's Chelsea label. Another tune I remember hearing in the early 1970s on the Gus Gossard Show. It features Ernie Edgerson on lead. They're called the El Domingos. This one from May 62. The El Domingos on Chelsea. It's called Lucky Me, I'm in Love.
Bo, 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 da, da, ba, bo.
As going out to Nat Papagallo, those are the El Domingos. The El Domingos from May 1962. Ernie Edgerson on lead there. It came out on the Chelsea record label. Lucky Me, I'm in Love is the name of that one. I remember getting my first copy of that for 75 cents on the Candlelight label. Johnny G here for Saturday evening. A couple more 45s to go before we sign off. Got another request for Evan. Evan, you buying all these 45s? And I know some of them are expensive, but they have gone down in price considerably from when I was your age collecting. But Evan requested supposedly this girl group from Detroit, Michigan. It's their only release. Only release on this label. But I think it's on the Cindy label, not the George Golner Cindy label. This is a label out of Detroit. They were called the Fabulous Egyptians, and it's from April of 1964. Where are you hearing these records, Evan? I don't think this is a common record, but it's a good one. The Fabulous Egyptians on the Cindy label. It's called End of Time.
Until the time comes, my dear.
I may have spoke too soon. That's not a girl group. Although it's quickly, when I heard it for a few seconds, I always thought it was a girl group, but it's not. I think it's a guy on lead, but they are girls in the background. Those aren't guys in the background. Those are girls in the background. But that is a nice song, Evan. Where did you hear that record? Did you hear it on a compilation CD or somewhere? But anyway, those are I lost my place. Those are the Fabulous Egyptians from April 1964 on the Cindy label out of Detroit. Called End of Time is the name of that one. And actually, you requested a song a couple weeks ago by Little Tommy and the Elgins. It was called Never Love Again. And I featured it on its first press Elmar label. Well, let's give a spin to the flip side of the record, which was written by Thomas Bryant, who is really the lead singer. Did I play this? Did I play this last week, Charlene, or not? I don't recall if I did. I didn't think I did, but let's give this one a spin. The flip side of Never Love Again. This one charted number 31 on WGES in Chicago. This is from July 62. I have it on the Elmar label, Little Tommy and the Elgins with I Walk On. I don't remember. July 1962 release there for Little Tommy and the Elgins. Little Tommy, his real name is Thomas Bryant. That one there featured on the first label, Elmar label. You can also get it on the ABC Paramount label. It's harder to get on that Philly label. It's called I Walk On. It's the flip side of Never Love Again. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email. Please send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. I almost wasn't going to do the show today because I worked until 6 o'clock. It usually takes me all night long on Friday night to look for the records and also to put them together with Charlene And I didn't communicate with Charlene at all, not until later today, and scrambling to get some records, but I put some together, so I am beat. And I still got to go check some work. I want to watch the games tomorrow. I do. But anyway, that's going to do it. But send me an email, really. I would appreciate it. And also like my YouTube site. It's very important. The more YouTube likes I get, the better it is. I'll get less. Well, it'll be better for me in the long run. Anyway, but that's going to do it for tonight. We're going to close the show tonight as we stay in Philadelphia for this group out of North Philly. I didn't play this. Somebody requested this. I think Nat maybe did, but I didn't play it. I played it not too long ago for Nevada listener Chuck Staton, and we're going to give it a play again. It might have been maybe a number of months ago, but it's a great record to hear again. I say it is. It's on the Arlen record label out of Philadelphia from May of '63. These are the Companions. The closer tonight is the Companions, a song entitled It's Too Late. Normally it's not too late for Johnny G, but it is too late for me today and tonight. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the tunes. I apologize for all the mess ups, but again, thank you so much, Charlene, for all your help, especially trying to do this. And a program note, I will be back this coming Wednesday at 8 o'clock to fill in for Ramtown Mike. I'll be doing a countdown show from August 15th of 1960. So there are some group harmony records in there, but lots of cool R&B and instrumentals and other tunes. And the number one record is pretty interesting too. It's a survey. Here's a survey. I only have a copy of it, and it's a WABQ music list from August 15th of 1960. I'll tell you, the pick hit of the week came out on the Atlantic label. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's got some albums here too. The albums were Plug LP. No, the album of the week was Dave Baby Cortez on Clock. Do you have that LP? I don't think I do. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks, for the Vinyltreasure Show. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show from 9 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. I'll again be back next Saturday for more 50s and early 60s, 45s. But Wednesday night will be a countdown show, a special show. But anyway, again, thank you so much, Charlene. Everybody have a safe and happy week. You can also go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there, or again, visit the YouTube site for you collectors out there. I wish I was able to see these labels when I was a collector, as I would be writing down the songs and what they look like. So actually, it's pretty good. You know what to look for when you see these records. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Everybody have a safe and happy week. I'll see you Wednesday or next Saturday. Just want to say, everybody, so long. Okay, folks. I am tired. So that's going to do it. Let's just show you the record here. On the Arlen label out of Philadelphia, you might have Bust Out on this too. Who has that? Brian, you have Bust Out on Arlen on the light blue label. You might have that too. There's a lot of... and there's another Arlen label, by the way, on the West Coast. You get like Hot Pastrami by the Dartels. You know that one? Anyway. All right, folks. Johnny G's beat. I'm going to go relax. I still, believe it or not, I have work to do. Still have work to do, but I did most of it. That's going to do it, folks. But again, thank you so much for sticking around. And I'll be back on Wednesday night for some cool R&B stuff and group stuff, too. There's some good group stuff in there, too. But again, I'll be back next Saturday from 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies. So everybody, have a safe and happy week. Be careful out there with the snow. I'm going to shovel tomorrow morning. I could use the exercise I can. But again, everybody, have a great week and a good night. Bye-bye now.